Okay, so we're going to start with our build here for the Rolife Miniature House Garage Workshop number DG165. The first steps here, if you saw my unboxing video, I will go ahead and put a link up here for that. But I mentioned the first thing I was going to do was to go through the material list that they provide here, basically to ensure that I have everything. And the first thing that I noticed was here they reference a wooden board. That's supposed to have, well, it doesn't have a part number, but it is supposed to be a board that has everything. It appears that that board no longer comes as a board, but it comes in these three bags. Because these three bags are not referenced anyplace else. It skips from bag 1 to bag 5. So the best I can tell, I mean, that's small. It's really tough to see, but looking at some of the parts that are in here versus what's looks like or is on that board, it looks like they broke all those parts out into bags now, which, I mean, is cool because now I don't have to break them all out of a board. But at the same time, it would be kind of nice if they updated their material list to reflect what they actually deliver instead of running around scratching my head going, what the heck is all this now? Why am I missing stuff already? And then the other thing is they don't account for any of these pieces here. They do account for like the three colored walls, the floor, and the two side walls. Those are here. So they do account for those, but they don't account for these other walls. So a little wonky when you're going through the material list to try and figure out exactly what you have. The other stuff, the only bag I took out was bag 6 because there's a lot of little parts in there that I couldn't see through the bag necessarily. So I took those out just to make sure that I had everything. The other bags I was able to just kind of look through and make sure all the parts were there. So I think we're good to go. We're going to go ahead and get started with the build here. I'll record what I think makes sense and edit out the stuff that I don't need. You don't want to watch me build the whole thing, I'm sure. But as I go through and find little things, I will make sure to record them, put them in here, and then I'll do my final review at the end and give you my thoughts and pricing and so on. So yeah, stay tuned for more. So I thought I'd call out here before we get going with the actual build. In the instructions, if you're one of those people who actually reads the instructions, they give you some tips and some points and whatever on how to read the instructions and how to prepare the parts and so on. All of this warning right here is just about the batteries and the lights. Read it at your leisure, I guess. This really isn't anything to be concerned about either. It's just don't give it to kids. They can choke, all that other good stuff. This down here is pretty important. They do include a parts sheet that shows you what the part numbers are for the various parts. So you'll want to reference that in the instructions to make sure that you're getting the right parts. And then the tools that they include, they do have a little sandpaper. They do have double-sided tape. These are very tiny, so that's going to be interesting on getting that out. They do tell you to use the tweezers when you're doing the tape, right here. So I can see why now, because my sausage fingers are not going to have a good time with those. It does come with the tweezers and a screwdriver that they call out here, but then it says self-preparation for a knife. Self-preparation means you provide it yourself, I guess. So I am going to use my little hobby kit that I got because that does have a knife in it. I may even use some of the other stuff that they have because it looks like it's a little bit higher quality than what comes with the kit, but they do give you that stuff, so just thought I'd call it out. Okay, so as I'm getting started here, one thing that I thought was pretty cool that I would point out to y'all is it tells you all of the parts that you need as you're going through the steps, and it tells you what bag it's in. So all of these pieces were in bag 1, and then all of these pieces are in bag 4. And then to double check to make sure that you have the right pieces, if you pull up this sheet that I showed earlier, the parts diagram, when you actually get the pieces, so this for example is P3 out of bag 4, you compare it to what's on here. These are life-size diagrams of the parts, right? So you can see the P3, it's actually labeled on there. Hopefully you can see that, P3. When I hold this up to it, it is the exact match. So it's pretty easy to make sure that you got the right parts. Pretty good way to do this. So I'm happy with that. Okay, so the build is finished of my Rolife Garage Workshop. As you can see, everything is in place, everything is assembled. It was fun, I have to say. It was a little challenging. Anybody who has adult-size male fingers is going to struggle with some of the small details. All of these draws here and here, like those are all, you put those together, and there's a lot of little fidgety pieces. And there is double-sided tape that holds a lot of this stuff together. So you are definitely going to want to have, the set does come with tweezers, but I find that they're a little too, I'll say, thick to handle the double-sided tape well. So I did get a miniature toolkit that has some additional tweezers in it that have a much finer point. That was key in getting these things put together, to be honest. As well as an X-Acto knife. You're definitely going to want an X-Acto knife for cutting out some things and trimming things. A little piece of sandpaper comes with it, but I have some little, I guess you'd call them emery boards, which is like a stick of sandpaper, if you will. All told, I want to say I probably put about 5 hours into this. Again, a lot of it was just fidgeting with a lot of the little pieces, but yeah, I'm happy with the results. I'm overall happy with the quality. I don't really have anything negative to say. I would definitely get more of these kits going forward. Not sure what else, because this is really the only, I'll say, masculine one that was out there. But that being said, it would be kind of cool to collect some others maybe and put them together and just have a whole little collection. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But overall, I'd probably give it on a scale of 10, probably, I'll say a fair 8 out of 10. The only thing that I would say that they could probably improve on would be, I guess, making some of the pieces fit together a little better. I did have to do some sanding for some of the notches to fit together well. And I also, they may want to include some glue in their kits going forward, because like these little boxes back here on the shelf, you have to put those together, and those, they actually didn't fit together very well. They kept falling apart. So I did use some craft glue to hold those together. So I would say that would probably be one of the improvements that I would do. There is a battery kit that goes with this. It's in the back. The wiring for that you have to do yourself, and they do provide some tape. It's not a big deal. I mean, it's just 2 wires, but it would have just been nice if that was already connected. I'm not sure why they didn't connect it, but it's just an extra step that you shouldn't probably have to perform. Anyway, overall, 8 out of 10. Quality's good, instructions were good, and it was a lot of fun. So there you have it. Hope this was helpful. Feel free to give me a like if you liked it, or provide feedback if there's anything that you would like to see that I didn't capture here, or if you have any questions. Take it easy and see you on the next one.